you can look at their story and realize anyone can learn from that, in the sense of, if you just start before you're ready, you're better off. If you raise your staff before the waters part, they'll part. But the waters will never part unless you raise your staff, unless you have that faith and that relationship with God. I've gained wisdom from various different people or sources or books, and it's without realizing I was pursuing learning how to be courageous, how to do the things, how to be the person who initiates something where it's terrifying. And I think there's been different tools that I've found over the years. There's this thing called fear setting, I think by Timothy Ferriss, where you basically write and jot down, and this isn't necessarily a thing with like Christ, but I might tie this into it eventually. But the idea of you write down your worst case scenario. You write down the dream thing, the thing that you want to do that terrifies you. Then write down what about it scares you. Like, what's the worst case scenario? Down to like all this horrible stuff happens, everything burns down, and then a bird poops on your head. You know, just be detailed.
Right.
And you like spend a few minutes actually brain vomiting on paper what that is in writing. And then you think about, okay, what could I do to either avoid this or recover this from this really horrible nightmare scenario? And then what's the cost of inaction in 6 months? What's the cost of inaction in 12 months? And I don't know what it is, but over the last decade or whatever, I've thought about time and how people pursue an objective or whatever, or just live in terms of, like, I was, I guess, quantifying value of time spent with what was the objective that they were aiming for, what were they spending that time doing, and down to like in high school, I created like a mental model on this, and looking back, I'm like, oh, that actually had a huge influence on me. It's like a way to visualize a person going through space, making decisions and trying to achieve something. And I, over the years, I spent so much time reading all these self-help books and whatnot. But what it came down to was I was still in inaction. I was still stuck in inaction, learning and overthinking things. And I still get tripped up on overthinking. But coming back to this place of, I'm never going to have it all figured out.
Right.
Like I've learned, in the last year that I have OCD, and the thing that you have to understand in order to so I have to check things a million times to cope with my brain not wanting to trust myself. Mm-hmm. And what I'll find is like, if I have to embrace uncertainty, period, as a coping method, as a way to like heal from that. Just the rest of my life, I have to, if I want to have exposure therapy with the OCD, it's embrace the fact that there's uncertainty with everything. Mm-hmm. And more tools like this, like fear setting or embracing the uncertainty or realizing when I overthink things, it's helped me it's helped me learn how to overcome, overcome fear and be courageous. One example though is my mentor, Mike, making the film to honor him. I started learning how to be more like him. And one of the things he did was he actually would like encourage people like, hey, if that fear you feel, like that thing that's like, you want to go do that thing, but you feel fear getting in the way, dominate it. Go dominate the room. Like go do this thing, like, or go talk to the person, go make the room laugh, And he would do that. Granted, I had to upgrade from the operating system in my brain, Mike OS to Lord OS, because you got me into a lot of trouble.
Right.
But it's like I've been so blessed to have those kind of resources, those kind of mentors, and just the experience of realizing I have to just wing it. Because you know what? Mm-hmm. Like, I realized even the best filmmakers in the planet, what I realized by doing deep research on all of them, there was nothing that separated them from everyone else, except that they realized they didn't need permission to start, and they didn't need to listen to the people that told them not to go and do it. They just started and didn't stop. Spielberg hid in the trash can in the studio where he became like a big director at.
Wow.
Like, Kubrick directed his own feature films himself with his own money because he was doing photography and he figured, well, I could make some money from this. He started doing it, hated the first ones, but every director, you can look at their story and realize anyone can learn from that, in the sense of, if you just start before you're ready, you're better off. If you raise your staff before the waters part, they'll part. But the waters will never part unless you raise your staff, unless you have that faith and that relationship with God.